Hello, everybody. It's my privilege to introduce to you, all the way from the south side of Chicago, the man, the myth, the legend, my Theo, your brother, the South Side Unicorn.
And what they're proposing, Romney wants to he said in the first 100 days, he's going to let the big banks once again write their own rules. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Hey, it's your boy Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show. And today we're having a question and answer chat with my good friend Agnes Gibboney. Agnes Gibboney is an angel mom, dubbed so by President Donald J. Trump himself. In addition, we have the honor of Greg Brittain. He is the host of Unite IE. He gives voice and information to one of the most important political offices in America, that of the private citizen. So we have some really good people here. Need you to come in. So if you come in, just mute yourself and prepare to listen in, because before we close, we're going to have a question and answer. You'll get your chance to ask Gregory Brittain, Agnes Gibboney, any of the questions you may have that comes to mind. Now, we'll ask you all to be mindful for some of you, because the show is open to everybody, but be mindful of the fact we're just 5 days post of her son's heavenly birthday, Ronnie, who was born on, January 28th? Am I right, Agnes?
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor and my privilege to introduce to you Agnes Gibboney, an angel mom. Hi, Agnes.
Hi, thank you so much, Kenny, for having me on your program.
You're welcome. We're honored to have you here. It's one of those things, you always ask somebody, are you okay? Is there something I can do? We're friends, all of us, the three of us assembled here. And Connie is the producer. She's there, but she's not going to show a picture. You don't ask friends that type of stuff because, let's keep it honest, you're not okay. You're kind of pretty far away from okay, am I right?
Absolutely. We victims, families of victims, tend to just put this mask and pretend like we're okay when we're really not, because most people will not tolerate, or they don't know what to say or how to act. So nobody asks anything, and you just go on in your grief and your sorrow for those several days before the birthday or anniversary, because only another mother who has lost a child to a violent crime will understand what it's like, and the silence that you keep and the mask you put on to please everybody, because nobody really wants to see somebody hurting.
It's a hard thing. I mean, and it's human nature. You know, we want to see you okay, and we're here for you, and we love you. But, you know, you are, and I'm in that same group, but we're not talking about me today. If Ronnie was still with us, how old would he be today?
He would have been 52 years old.
That's just getting started.
I wonder what he would look like. I wonder what he would be doing if he would have more children. April will be 23 years that he was murdered, and 23 years of memories of history that was stolen from me and my family.
You know, I'm so sorry, and I'm the audience, and I'm sure Greg joins me, Connie joins us in offering you our sympathies and condolences. But I wanna ask you a few questions. That's one of the reasons we're grateful you came on today. President Donald J. Trump, the 45th president of the United States, is now the 47th president of the United States. This man really did hit the ground running. It's only 11 days, and he's done more in 11 days than Robinette Joseph Biden did in 4 years. One of those things he did was he's put the National Guard. If I've misspoke, correct me. Is it the Army or the National Guard? Either way, he's put boots on the ground at the border. He's raised tariffs against Canada and Mexico. He's deporting people at the rate with Tom Homan's help over there at ICE. About 1,000 people a day are getting kicked the heck out of here. Agnes Gibboney, angel mom of President Donald J. Trump. How does that make you feel?
I am celebrating every day, and I'll tell you, after President Trump was elected, the second time, the third time actually, because the second time they stole it from him. I was so
Oh, did you say
elated.
that? Did you go there? You're gonna say 2020 was stolen,
Sorry,
right?
sorry, I got to be honest
Sorry,
with
not
my
sorry,
feeling.
right?
Uh, yeah, but I am so honored and thrilled that President Trump is in office. He took off running the first day, knowing exactly what he was signing. And unlike, senile Biden just sat there and signed, he probably doesn't even know what he signed that pretty much destroyed our country in the 4 years that he was president, did quite a lot of damage. But I am so honored and so proud of President Trump, and even more honored that he signed the Lake and Riley Act to hold accountable every illegal alien that commits any theft, any burglary, any assault to a law enforcement, any bodily injury to a person or death. They will be prosecuted, and then they will be deported when their sentence is over. Send them all to Guantanamo Bay. I'm all okay with that.
Outstanding. So that segues me over to our good friend Gregory Brittain, who is an Esquire, an attorney at law. I mean, you can say, well, I specialize in this and I specialize in that, but if you got the brain power to become a lawyer, I think this question would be germane to offer to Gregory. Gregory, in addition to securing our border, he's also issued tariffs against Mexico and Canada at the rate of 25%. Now, our good friends on the other side of the aisle, oh, it's the end of the world. It's going to make us have to go into soup lines and all these things. Gregory, what's your opinion of the tariffs that President Trump has levied? Are they going to hurt us or help us?
Well, understand that oftentimes tariffs relate to trade issues, that the other country is that our country is being losing manufacturing jobs, or the other countries engaging in unfair trade practices, subsidizing their exports, or unfairly devaluing their currency to give them a competitive advantage, and taking away jobs of American workers. This is the purpose of these tariffs are different. It is to make Canada and Mexico stop allowing their countries to be used as conduits and ways to import fentanyl into our country, which is killing more than 100,000 Americans every year. And until Donald Trump came back in, that was kind of a non-issue for the federal government and the people ruling this country. Yeah, 100,000, yeah, and they really didn't care very much about it, but Donald Trump does. So it far transcends, will this hurt us economically? Will this help us economically? The question far transcends that. Is, are we going to put a stop to this importation of fentanyl? And also, mind you, and it was only 10% for so far, because this is really a Chinese operation. The Chinese Communist Party,
Chinese
according
connection,
to
huh?
Peter Schweizer, who wrote a number of books, including detailing corruption in our government and how China controls so many of our ruling elites, is that this is really a Chinese operation designed to undermine our country, and the Mexican cartels are kind of the junior partners in this operation.
Oh, I see. Okay, so what you're saying is
whether we,
all
whether
money ain't good
10%,
money.
whether 10% could be enough to change China's policy, we shall
Mm.
see. It may not be. And kind of a heads up is the Sinaloa cartel I read today is now setting up to manufacture fentanyl with Chinese chemicals in South Africa. So South
Oh,
Africa may be next on the 25% or more tariff list. So yeah, so it's not a question of economics. It's a question of saving the lives of 100,000 plus Americans every year.
so as I was trying to say, that means that all money ain't good money, and this is the Chinese connection. But given the rabid mindset of the Democrats. When you say that South Africa could very well become duplicit in this action, is that going to shine any light onto our good friend Elon Musk? I mean, you know how crazy these people are. They're going to be like, he's part of it.
What they say and any connection to reality as you've watched some of these hearings on Donald Trump's confirmation is, I don't know, dubious at best. But they will be screaming at their literally and figuratively at maximum volume, no matter what Donald Trump does.
That's true. That's very true.
And that's part of a strategy is since he knows they can only scream so loud, again, literally and figuratively, it's just I'd hit them everywhere on every front all the time, constantly, and kind of overwhelm them. They call flood the zone. That is part of Donald Trump's strategy. But and Elon Musk is a dedicated American patriot. He originated in South Africa, came from South Africa. I don't know what year, how old he was when he came over here. He's a dedicated American patriot. And
now, right there, Greg,
I have no doubt
allow me to make an interjection here. I agree with you, but I will still say this because my audience has seen it on my Facebook page and everywhere else. I will still say this. I'm glad he jumped in and he saved us from Twitter and turned it into X. I'm glad he jumped in with President Trump because I believe that was the extra few pounds on the scale that tipped the scale. But when you deal with geniuses like Elon Musk, I cannot help but believe he has another reason why he helped Trump. I believe that whatever he's after that we may find out in the years to come, he could not do it anywhere else but in a free America. So I believe there's a secondary motivation besides being a patriot that Elon Musk has risked so much. What do you think?
I think for Elon Musk and a lot of they call the tech bros now that were supporting Democrats and came over to Donald Trump, I think it is they want to live in a free country. There's one a guy named Mark Andreessen, and he had a meeting with Biden administration officials who told him, we're not going to let you do your AI project. We're going to have 2 or 3 AI projects, all government controlled. And he left that meeting and they said, what do you do about that? He was asking in an interview, what do you do? Well, what do you do about that? And his answer was support Donald Trump.
Well, I guess it's a binary choice, ironically, right? You either go with the 0 or the 1. Trump is the 1. Now, let me turn back to Agnes again. Ms. Gibboney, Agnes, good friend of mine. We're looking at these confirmation hearings coming from the left and advising consent. We have the Republicans who are even still squabbling amongst themselves. I believe there's 3 or 4 that are at risk at all times when it comes to President Trump's nominees. Now, when you see Adam Schiff grilling Kash Patel the way he did, what are your thoughts and feelings on that?
Well, I don't think much of Adam Schiff to begin with. And some of the confirmation hearings that I have watched, it was nothing but a put down show. I can't be respectful and say exactly what I think, but you get the idea.
Starts with S, but ends with show, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. And they are trying everything not to confirm some of these incredible people that President Trump is putting in his cabinet to help him to clean up the mess that the Democrats have created. And if you look at it, the impression I'm getting, the Democrats are scrambling like no other, and some of them are even beginning to change their tune because now President Trump is in office. And good for President Trump. I'm very honored that he's in office. I sleep a lot better since he got sworn in on January 20th. I am proud of my country again because for the last 4 years under the senile Biden, I hated this government. Absolutely hated it. Had zero respect.
I'm glad you said that, Agnes, because I'm going to show a clip to the audience. You were nice enough to be in my show called A Chat About the Dreamer, Dr. King. And in that chat last year, you actually said you weren't very happy or pleased with America. And you being the uber patriot that you are, that kind of struck me hard afoot. So it's nice to hear that things are returning back to a level where you can be proud of your country once again. That's a good thing. And it looks like we even got Mr. Fetterman, Senator Fetterman, is becoming a Republican, or is he MAGA, Greg? What do you think?
Well, he denied that.
He denied being MAGA?
There were reports he was going to change parties, and he said, no way, that's not going to happen. Now, of course,
he might not have a choice in the matter.
But I think he recognizes he's in a purple state, and they're not into the craziness of the Democrat Party and the Democrat Party base. So Donald Trump carried a state, and very narrowly a Republican won a Senate seat, and that was actually providential, because absent that, Pete Hegseth would not have become our Secretary of Defense. So it was that third, making it 53 rather than 52 Republicans in the Senate, that allowed Hegseth to get through, and maybe the difference in others getting through. Yeah. So, but I think Fetterman is, even though he dresses crazy and in a sweatshirt and so on, I think he is a little more. He's more rational and more connects with the people, the working men and women of his state, than most Democrats. And maybe,
so I get it. What you're trying to say is he's trying to prevent from being primaried, is what I'm hearing out of that. Ultimately.
Oh, no. He's more likely to get primaried because he's in the Democrat Party. He's more likely to get primaried, but by being a more moderate version of a Democrat, he's more likely to win a general election in Pennsylvania next time he's up.
I understand. Now I want to switch to you again, Agnes, real quick. And actually, we're all going to get a bite at this apple, because I have you guys here. I'm so glad you're on the Southside Unicorn Show. Got a question for you, Agnes. What is that next to you? What's going on over there? Is that your baby? Hey.
That's my baby.
Oh.
My legal immigrant dog that needed a passport to come into the United States.
So you're trying to tell me that dog is more legal than some of the people marching down the 101?
You betcha.
Ha!
She has a European Union pet passport, a microchip registered in my name, a pedigree registered in my name, and a vet certificate to come in.
Well, so, that's something to be able to say to somebody, be like, you know what, my dog is more legal than you. Wow. But now right. I want to ask you this real quick, and prayers go out to North Carolina, prayers go out to California. What we witnessed during the Santa Anas, during the windstorms here in California, is the absolute devastation of the beach line, the coastlines of Southern California. Should, and I'm just asking opinions at this point, ladies and gentlemen, should Mayor Bass and Gavin Newsom be up on criminal charges?
Absolutely, yes. Mayor Bass is a disgrace for LA County. Thank God she's not my mayor, because if she would be, I would be knocking on her door, visiting her, calling her office.
Visit, huh?
Yep. And the same thing with Newsom. He's totally destroying the state, and they both need to be prosecuted.
There we go. And Greg, you with the legal expertise over there, is there any possible exposure to criminal or even civil action against Governor Gavin Newsom or Mayor Bass? Pardon me for that.
Well, they're both corrupt. So if you were to investigate them the way they investigated Donald Trump, get all their tax records, all their records, go back over the last 20 years and find stuff, I think you wouldn't have to stretch the law the way they did with Donald Trump to find grounds to prosecute them for corruption. Okay. But I don't think you can, nor do I think you should, criminally prosecute for bad policy.
Isn't that more than bad policy? I hear what you're saying, and this is not a pushback. It's a question one of my audience members might ask. Isn't there a difference between bad policy and dereliction?
No, because they become one and the same. is the way we correct bad policy is to elect better politicians, elect somebody else. Otherwise, it opens up to, the economy doesn't do well, we're going to prosecute whoever's president. It would be a never-ending cycle of criminal prosecution over political differences, and we already have too much of that. So if you can show that they were guilty of corruption, I have no doubt that both are guilty of corruption. But if you can prove that, then prosecute.
So
But
you're going the Al Capone route.
If it's just
Instead of
bad
getting them on
policy,
the crimes, you're going to get them on the technicality of some type of a RICO or corruption act.
well, I don't think corruption, like when Gavin Newsom somehow came up with all this money through shenanigans of coming to buy a house and it didn't cost him any money. He was basically gifted a multi-million-dollar house. Okay, by who, for what, and what did you get in return? Okay. So corruption is not a technicality, but if they're guilty of corruption, then yes, prosecute them. But to prosecute over political differences because you don't like the policy, that supplants what the vote. I mean, what if the voters want that policy? What if the voters? I ran on this particular.
All right, I see what you're saying.
So the Democrats get back in, and they're going to prosecute Donald Trump for improperly evicting all of these poor illegals who should have been allowed to stay in the country.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you know what it is. The people are just mad as
for.
hell that these people managed to, through their dereliction, graft, corruption. People have died. There's billions of dollars of loss. The insurance companies are literally abusing the California citizen. And this man went on TV and said he's already planning California 2.0, and we haven't even pulled out all the bodies yet. So I'm just saying their insensitivity, all of this has upset and created an ire against the California citizen. So I'm going to wrap that question up, Greg, with you in this regard. Do we bother recalling Gavin Newsom or just let him term out? But is a recall in order and worth it for Bass?
I think their terms are both up in 26, and assuming you do.
You're breaking up. You're freezing. You're freezing, Greg. Your feed is jacked up. I'm gonna switch it over to Agnes until your feed comes back right. Agnes, same questions to you. Do we recall them, or is it not worth it?
Well, we have tried that in the past, and it cost us a few $1 million. And the problem is we don't have that kind of money to do another recall. Just let this go through, but hold him accountable for everything. Just give him a hard time on everything he does, every step of the way. Because look, when you have a mayor or a governor of any sanctuary city or state that's harboring any criminal, that's protecting, that's destroying, flat out destroying the state, that's treason. They should be held accountable for that. And people need to get in their faces and hold them accountable. Nobody does that. Well, I don't want them to get upset. We are over that, people. We need to get out and we need to voice it and we need to respond. We can't just sit back and be passive anymore.
Let me interject right there, Agnes. That sounds like shades of Maxine Waters. You get out there and you get in their faces and you tell them they're not welcome. That's what she said.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not telling people to get in anybody's face. I'm saying go to your office and hold them accountable. Let them know how unsatisfied you are with your service, with what they are doing, and keep applying pressure civilly, something that the left doesn't know how to do.
Oh, they don't have a clue about that because, and we're going to segue into that. Thank you for that, Agnes. We're going to go into Mr. Hakeem Jeffries yesterday with his defiant speech against a mandate election. President Donald J. Trump was elected by, now we like to use the word landslide, and I think we're a little bit disingenuous when we say that. It was still kind of close in certain areas, but by the two systems that we elect a president, he won on all levels. He won the Electoral College. He won the popular vote. All 7 swing states went to President Donald J. Trump. I think that's a mandate. It may not be a landslide, but it is indeed a mandate. So with that being said, Hakeem Jeffries, has come before the dais, and he said he wants Democrats to fight in the Congress. He wants them to fight. I forgot one of the other places, but most importantly, this man said he wants people to fight in the streets. Greg, you go first on that. What are your thoughts?
The use of the word fight in politics is commonly used, and it usually means to fight politically. But when the Democrat says we're going to fight in the streets, and with their recent history of encouraging, condoning, and supporting the mass rioting, pillaging, and burning in 2020, then it's a signal to their street thugs, the Antifas, the BLMs, go to it, guys. And
do it once again. Make a new city of love, right?
Yeah, we're trying to preserve deniability. Oh, I didn't mean violence. I meant go out and protest and so on. Now, of course, he could have said that. He could have made it very clear. He says, and take to the streets, and like Donald Trump said on January 6, 2021, make your voices heard peacefully and patriotically. He could have said that.
But he didn't. That's right. So now, Agnes, what are your thoughts on that? Fight, fight, fight. We're fighters. We all fight for the Constitution and whatnot in our own political ways. But Hakeem Jeffrey said he wants people fighting in the streets. What are your thoughts on that?
That's not the way to fight. I'm fighting. I have been fighting since 2016. I have never punched anybody, never cussed anybody out. I never hit anybody. I would never do anything like that. That is not the way to fight. Fight is by voicing your opinion, by holding elected officials accountable, by speaking up. And if somebody speaks up against you, you speak your point. Don't just retract and say, well, I don't want to argue with anybody. No, it's time that we push back too and start speaking up and start voicing our views and our opinions.
I hear you, but now here comes the question for both of you. Greg, answer first, please. You have the Speaker of the House saying that he wants an apology from Hakeem Jeffries, recognizing that what he said was inappropriate. But does an apology take care of this? What do you think?
No, that was not. It was not a misspeak. That was he thought about it and said what he intended to say. So I want an apology, and sometimes people will apologize, like as if that makes it okay what you did. If you misspeak, you're talking extemporaneously, and you go too far. Like on my show, and I was to say something, or on your show, it's not scripted. Okay, apologize. But that was intentional. It was scripted. He knew what he was going to say, and it's an apology, even if he gave it, was meaningless because the Antifa still got the message.
Thank you. And so my next question is censure or expulsion. I mean, America's a tinderbox right now. Let's be honest. Almost anything could set this nation off. Hakeem Jeffries, in my opinion, was extremely irresponsible. An apology won't cut it. But has he exposed himself to possible censure or expulsion?
Censure.
Either one, Agnes, Greg?
Censure.
Censure. Okay, Greg?
Censure. I mean, his voters sent him to, I wouldn't expel over this.
You wouldn't expect, wow. You guys you are such temperate, professional people. I'm from the South Side of Chicago. I don't know if I wouldn't be like, hey, dude, okay, fine, be like, I'll meet you outside, meet me outside, if that's how you feel about it, Hakeem, So we got that. We have a lot of anomalous things going on. In this game, and I'm learning from YouTube professionals, when it comes to broadcast and things, you don't want to get out in front of your skis like our friend Alex Jones does every now and then. I don't want to get out in front of my skis. But it seems like whenever the Republicans have the bully pulpit and we have the microphone, the whole 9 yards, all these anomalous things start to happen. Now, planes are coming out of the sky all over the place when that wasn't the case before. When I look at this ill-fated situation between the Black Hawk helicopter and the civilian aircraft, I'm going to believe my lying eyes on this one. It appears to me, a layman, the helicopter flew into the aircraft. You have to aviate, navigate, and communicate. That Black Hawk helicopter did neither. On that, I'm just going to open up to you, Agnes. What are your thoughts on that unfortunate accident?
The few videos that I have seen of the accident, it does look like the helicopter just went right for the airplane. And it's really tragic, all those lives lost. Extremely tragic, just like the one in Philadelphia on Friday. I mean, my heart goes out to that little girl, that just finished her treatments and now she's gone. Very tragic, but all these need to be fully investigated and find out a way to prevent these in the future. Because why? I don't know. My big question is, why would a helicopter a military base be stationed so close to an international airport, and knowing that planes are coming in, landing and taking off, go the other way? Why did the helicopter go that direction? I don't
Well,
know.
let me posit this before I turn to Greg. I don't know if he got out in front of himself, and therefore, forewarning is forearming. And I'm speaking about our president, President Donald J. Trump. He, in the very onset, went straight for DEI. And I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, because now the left is able to insulate itself, protect itself. I'm wondering why the names of these service members on the helicopter is so slow in coming, and why the pages of those military members were scrubbed. They're not there anymore. Okay. But President Donald J. Trump went straight for DEI as a possible contributing factor to the military aircraft striking the civilian aircraft. Greg, from there, what do you think?
Well, the video I've seen, it looks like that it was flew straight into it.
Mhm.
And the helicopter was warned twice.
Yeah.
There's a plane coming, turn, was told to go back to base, didn't do it. So what the cause of that was, I don't know. Why they delayed 3 days in releasing the woman pilot, and who was actually at the controls, we don't know. And then her and her family's social media is scrubbed in the
Period.
meantime.
Yeah, they took it down.
What's going on there? So yeah, anybody can make a mistake. White guys F up too. Okay. But
I'm gonna make a T-shirt with that. White guys F up too.
okay, but under Obama and again under Biden, they were selecting air traffic controllers based on DEI criteria, and the airlines have been choosing pilots based on DEI criteria. And when you start using that instead of merit and ability, you increase the risks of accidents, and the near misses have gone way up. They basically doubled in recent years the number of near misses that have occurred. And I suspect that the method by which you're choosing pilots and air traffic controllers plays a role in that, even if it did not play a role in this particular accident. Or was it intentional?
That's a good answer.
Was it intentional?
Well, I look at it this way. It is clearly, once again, the man's only been in office 11 days, ladies and gentlemen, and he's ruffling feathers all over the place because he went straight for the jugular. He said, this is DEI. This is the end result of what DEI is. And so he closed the office of diversity, equity, and inclusion. They're not being included in anything anymore because they're closed. Now, there's a rumor going around, and I'm hoping you all will help me dispel it, because the Democrats are fear peddlers. That's the greatest, I guess, platform they have, is scaring the hell out of people. Now they're trying to make people think here in the month of Black History Month that President Donald J. Trump has indeed canceled the memorial of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Anybody have any ideas on that, or if that's true or false? Chime in.
I haven't heard anything to that effect, and I would seriously doubt that President Trump would be that catty to do that. I don't think President Trump would ever do that. It just so happened that the inauguration fell on Martin Luther King Day, and then I think it was celebrated throughout the nation too. I think President Trump has respect for Martin Luther King.
Well, and President Trump brought him, is that we're going to fulfill his dream. That's what he said in his inaugural address.
Yes.
Okay, so poo-poo on the Democrats who are trying to stir the African American community up, saying he even canceled Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
that's a real unfortunate thing there.
how do you know when a Democrat is lying?
How do you know?
His
When they
lips are
open their
moving.
mouths.
Huh?
His
When
lips are
they open their
moving.
mouths.
You both said the same thing in a different way. Yeah, I would almost have to agree with that. Now, as we wrap up the show, I just want to get a couple quick questions in here real quick. There's a lot of things that have come to pass in the wake of the return of President Donald J. Trump. I'm trying to remember the one president, because there's only been two times in the history of our nation what this
Benjamin
man
Harrison.
did. What's his name?
Benjamin Harrison.
Benjamin Harrison.
I
So
could be
there's
wrong.
Benjamin Harrison,
I could be wrong. I wonder
and
if I'm
there's
wrong on
President
that one.
Donald J. Trump. Now, in the wake of President Donald J. Trump becoming number 47 and literally decimating the Democrat Party, the remnants of the Republican Party are scrambling for identity. This is what I see. I'm involved in some political stuff. I know a lot of politicos. I see some of the struggles that are going on throughout local Republican parties, regional, state, and it's a mess. Now, I want to touch on this. I'm not trying to get you all to endorse or not endorse, to be honest, but I need your help on this, ladies and gentlemen. Um, the CAGOP and the CRs and all these different organizations, we have our own version of oligarchs. Robinette Biden said that oligarchs is the thing we have to watch out for. Now, isn't that ironic that we'd have to watch out for them within our own party, the party of Lincoln? We got to watch out for oligarchs. So I want to ask you all just this one question. The two people vying for the office of chairperson for the California GOP are Corin Rankin, who is the vice chair at this present time, and Senator Mike Morrell. I don't think it could be two more stark personalities to be vying for that office. Now, again, I'm not asking you to endorse either candidate because I hope to have both of them on the show. I do believe that a debate is in order. Greg, maybe you can help to try to orchestrate that, and I would be honored to be one of the moderators. But I believe with what's at stake, we the people of California, we deserve a debate and not just this juggernaut of I got more endorsements than you got. I'm going to be the new chair. There's too much of that going on. What are your thoughts on this, Greg? If Corin Rankin wins, what kind of a California GOP will we have? And if Senator Morrell wins, what kind of a GOP do you think we would have?
Well, before I answer that, I'll do what they do on the floor of Congress, and I will ask unanimous consent to revise and extend my remarks because it was Grover Cleveland who previously
Oh, okay.
non
See, and I trust you, man. I trust you,
non
man. You can say
non-consecutive
stuff, and I'm
terms.
like, okay, that's what it is.
Non-consecutive. Okay.
Okay. So I
If
guess white guys can F up, right?
Corin Rankin is the current vice chair of the California Republican Party, and if she is selected, everyone is to believe that the party will continue to, as it now is, utterly useless at best, if not counterproductive. Mike Morrell is a dedicated conservative. He was a state senator. He came home, and I know Mike well. He came home from Sacramento as conservative as he went. Sacramento didn't change him.
Okay.
And he's also started three successful businesses, so he has that experience. Mike is probably the only one of the few, or maybe the only guy who can unite both the grassroots and the professionals, party
Elites,
establishment, whatever you want to call them,
elites,
because we really
oligarchs,
need,
the homies.
yeah, whatever you want to call them, the establishment
Mhm.
is they could unite them because both are necessary if the Republicans are gonna do better in California.
And that was my concern. I'm going to come to you, Agnes. But I saw something in the 2024 election that literally has me biting at the champ. President Donald J. Trump almost took California. He
No,
almost did it. You
no,
don't think so?
no,
I think he
no.
put a good dent in it. So before we go back and forth on that, Agnes, your thoughts on the future of the California GOP under both candidates who are running for that office. You have Corin Rankin, who is the associate chair. She's vying for the chair. You have Senator Mike Morrell. He's vying for the chair. What does this party in California look like? Should either one of them win? What's your opinion?
First of all, if the VP Corinne Rankin wins, we're going to have the same ineffective nonsense with in California with the GOP as we have right now. So our only hope to unite us and to make a difference is Mike Morrell. So Mike Morrell needs to win, because I have brought up to Corinne at the last convention some of the craziness that's happening with the San Bernardino Central Committee, them attacking conservative Republicans in the most ugliest forms, including myself calling me left-wing Democrat threat, trying to take over the Republican
wait a
Party.
minute. Okay, watch this. As we wrap up the show, and you are the invited guest, I'm gonna shut up for a minute, and I hope Greg will indulge me in letting you explain to us, because we are talking about the skimmish, we're talking about the oligarchs, we're talking about the good old boy system that is corrupting the California Republican Party. It seems like you know something firsthand, something that you now the information you're about to share. This is firsthand. You can assert that what you're about to share is a fact. Okay,
yes,
you know what, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of those times we just gonna sit back for about 2 or 3 minutes. Agnes, have at it. Tell us what's going on. What's happening in the local areas of like the CR? What is it?
Central Committee, the San Bernardino Central Committee. Let me put it this way: under the current chair, Phil Cochran, the San Bernardino Central Committee completely. I was hoping you wouldn't mention names.
No,
you can cut that out. Everybody can look it up who the Central Committee chair is.
Right. Well, and you got to mention which committee it is.
San Bernardino Central Committee, GOP Central Committee. The chair has ran this whole Central Committee as his own personal PAC. There's incredible division amongst the voters. Conservatives are being shunned to the side. The chair told my husband a year and a half ago, Mark, control your wife, because I brought up a fact that the secretary hadn't paid his dues, but was voting. Totally unethical, unprofessional, and they let this go on for years. We have
you don't have to pay money into something that you own. I mean, I can almost see the logic there.
Well, we all are required to pay our dues. So why aren't their side mandated to pay dues? You see the point? When you're a member, you have fees.
I was being tongue-in-cheek when I said that. Yeah, if you're the treasurer, and that's his position, right?
Well, the treasurer, it was a secretary there. Hadn't
the secretary. Paid. Well, the secretary is seeing the books. And if you see the books and you're operating in the red or you're minus some money, the first person you're going to look at is yourself, because you're not paying your dues. I don't understand how someone can believe they should be in the titular head of any body, any governing body, and not be totally flush themselves.
Only because he explained, because he's being sued 2 $1 million lawsuits by a woke person, which is not true. He's being sued by 2 men for sexual harassment at the city of Montclair.
And I'm not, a person's sexual persuasion is not why I'm taking issue with this. You're saying that this person is alleged to have had sexual misconduct with more than one person?
I'm not alleging anything. You go look at the court papers in San Bernardino, and you can see all the documentation of what that is. But I believe he's coming up for trial in July of this year. So that's not here and there. The problem is our Central Committee has become very progressive. It has become a clique. It's not inclusive at all. Look at the voting that we had this last, in January, when we had our meetings. 28 of them to 16 of our side for
wait a minute, wait. Let me for my audience. I gotta clean this up a little bit. 28 of them. Who is this them? Who are you speaking of?
All the people that are in Phil Cochran's back pocket. Sorry, the chair's back pocket.
Okay, I don't know how I'm gonna clean that up. I just didn't want to mention him by name because I don't want to, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
no,
so
yeah.
so you saying
So the chair
he
is back
has his own
pocket. Yeah,
oligarch?
yeah. And
Help me
then
out, Greg. Help me out, Greg. You
Well,
got five
even if
minutes, guys.
oh, even if you didn't name the guy directly, if it was obvious from the context who you were talking about. So
Uh-huh.
if you talk about the president of the United States and don't mention the name Donald J. Trump,
everybody
you
knows.
still it's still who you know who you're talking about.
So you saying
So
because I'm gonna
you're
just
not
leave the show
escaping
raw.
any liability.
Okay, so you're saying it's gonna be okay that his name is mentioned.
Yeah, it is because he's a public figure,
Okay.
Agnes made all the allegations on so there's a reasonable there's a reasonable basis. He has personal knowledge of all this stuff, so
Okay.
yeah, you're good. And
Then I'm gonna leave it raw and uncut. Even the questioning of it, I'm gonna leave it raw and
right, yeah,
uncut. So you're saying this gentleman, Phil Cothran, has basically made the organization his own.
Yeah, he's running, the chair is running the SBGOP Central Committee as his own personal PAC. We, the elected members, are shunned to the side. It's like we have no voice. It has been completely taken over by them, and we have zero control. And that's not.
So, Greg, isn't there someone they can go to, like President Trump or
no,
whatever, or commission?
nope,
There's no commission.
nope.
And here we go to that VP. I brought to her attention. She goes, "That is horrible. That should never be. We need to do something about it." What did she do? Zip, nothing. So do you think I'm gonna vote for her? Jessica Patterson wasn't a very good one, a chair, California chair. And why would I vote for the VP who hasn't made any change to improve anything?
So, would she have had the power to reach out to Mr. Cothran and change some things? Does she have the power to do that?
She said she was going to, and I never heard a thing after that.
So the corruption continues, or the perceived
Unethical
corruption.
practices continues. Yes.
Out. So, Greg, what is the alternative? We're down to 4 minutes. You are also the president of the Redlands Tea Party. Am I not mistaken?
Well, I'm not the president, but Agnes and I and others are on the cabinet, so we don't have a quote president unquote or anything like that. I just kind of lead the meeting, so people think I am.
So,
Is
what do you see as the alternative to this?
my view has been that the time and money spent on the California Republican Party and the county party is wasted, and we just need to go ahead and do our own thing. I'm trying to help Mike Morrell because I think there might be a chance now, if we can get Mike Morrell elected, there's a chance that we can make the California Republican Party into something useful and effective. I don't know that would happen, even if Mike gets in, because he'd be the director, the chair, but he wouldn't. There's still a board of directors there who may want to keep things like they are. Okay. Our friend Don Dix, you know Don, and when he was chair of the Riverside County Republican Party, he was turning it around into making it into something useful. And when he passed, immediately they flipped right back into being useless.
Out. And God rest his soul. But Don Dix, I have a video of he and I think I shared it with you, Agnes. He was a force. He was a force, and he put a dent in Gavin Newsom too. So I guess what I see is we need more Don Dix, we need more Gregory Brittains, we need more Agnes Gibboneys in our party. But as we hurl into March, which, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, that's going to be the California GOP convention, which once again is going to be held in Northern California, which I don't get that, but that's where it's going to be. These are the issues you all should be talking about out there, and let's start circulating the ideas. Am I coming down on one side or the other? Not yet. I think as an influencer, I should not. But at the same time, I do see the party that I've loved for over 50 years. The party I've loved for over 50 years. Something's not right. And President Donald J. Trump is now the new force, the new drive behind this party. I think I'm safe in saying this, and all I need is a yes or no. Those who rail against President Donald J. Trump at this time are not really Republicans anymore, if I'm right. Everybody, we got a minute?
If they are officially registered as a Republican and they're attacking Donald Trump, yes, they're not really Republicans. If they're a Democrat, they're a Democrat.
Yeah.
Mm.
Agnes, what are your thoughts?
I think the same thing. There's a lot of progressives, a lot of people calling themselves Republicans but voting Democrat and helping Democrat, including our chair in the Central Committee and a lot of people in the Central Committee. You do not attack a conservative Republican. You support them, you back them up. But the way they do it, they try to destroy you if they want you out, just like they did with my
That's a
husband
violation
running.
of Ronald Reagan's 13th Amendment, right? 13th rule,
Yes,
which is don't attack fellow Republicans, right? So
that's
we're,
right.
we're down to like a minute. Agnes, the last 20 seconds is yours. What do you want to say to the people?
I just want to say God bless this country. Thank you for the support always. And let's keep supporting our president and holding elected officials accountable.
Outstanding. So, Greg, a couple seconds. What do you want to say to the people?
The most important political office remains, notwithstanding Donald Trump winning the election, the private citizen. And if America is going to be made and kept great, free, prosperous, secure, and healthy, it will ultimately be up to the private citizens to make that happen.
Outstanding. Hey, listen to me. There's no place I'd rather be. There's nothing I'd rather do than being right here doing this show for you. I'm Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show, and we are out.